What's going on, folks? Happy New Year's to anyone that's watching right now. Just give us a couple minutes as we're trying to get prepared for the show for today. But today I got my boy Nick on, so I'm excited for that. It's been a minute since he's been on broadcast, but it's all good.
Right.
Yeah, man, I think it's a great way to start the New Year's off. But yeah, first though, you said the audio was pretty good, right?
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, okay. All right, bet. Yeah, so I got one more person that's gonna be joining us a little bit later in the show. I know that he's kind of taking care of some stuff on his end, and like I said, I'll bring him to the stage. But um, but what's going on, bro? Any New Year's resolutions? Any goals? And what's going on with you?
Hey, the only resolution is to get up out of here, get up out of Florida.
Get out of Florida.
Yeah, man. Not that it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Just feel like God got somewhere else for me to be, and I've been disobedient. So,
Right.
yeah.
That's a big part of it, boy, being obedient, right?
hmm
But yeah, man, I mean, eventually I want to get out of Florida too. It's becoming too expensive. I know we talked about it before though, but it's
yeah.
expensive,
Oh, yeah.
dog. But
And
yeah,
it's not that. It's not that. Well, you know where I'm trying to move to Dallas, but it's not that Texas ain't expensive. It's just you get more bang for your buck. You get
right,
more. Like, it might be the same, but you get way more.
facts.
Like if I get a sandwich out there, the sandwich is $7 out here.
You
you
said-
gonna get you're gonna get a foot long in Texas. You're only gonna get half.
that's like one of the most manly examples ever.
Yeah.
Bring up food, right?
Yeah, right.
It's all good though, man. Uh, yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring my dog C to the stage. What's up, C?
What's up, bro? Hey,
Good,
what's up,
man.
Nick? I ain't seen you
What's
in a
up,
minute,
bro?
bro.
I know.
Yeah, it's been a
Hey.
nice little minute since we done chopped it up.
No. And the crazy thing is, he always asks me, but yo, something always happens, bro. Like with the kids or something like that. Like today, bro, I woke up and my phone wasn't charging. So I'm like, man. So I'm like, it was dead. It was, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like,
Yeah.
man, I hope it's not past 12, yo. Because I went to sleep late last night.
Right. Hey, one thing about Nick though, man, my dog, he not a morning person at all, bro.
Nah,
Yeah, I'm similar, bro. I'm not real good in the morning time. Anything before 10, it's a struggle for me.
Right. Right.
Anything before 10, it's like, hey, I
I
can get
swear.
prepared the night before.
Man, it seems like you like me, bro. It seems like your creativity come at night.
Yep.
No,
I
I'm like,
you see it's daytime and it's still dark in the room. I'm still kind of waking up. It's still like, hey, man, I got to kind of still get crunk up a little bit.
Word.
Man, y'all boys are tripping, man. Y'all need to wake up early. I'll be missing out on a lot, dog. Get a lot done early.
Hey, one thing about it, when you got a creative mind, bro, you need to kind of be alone. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, because in the morning, people, not that they shouldn't, but people ask you to do stuff and you got to get stuff done, so you can't like indulge in who you are. So at night, it's like that's when nobody's bothering you, but then time just be flying. Before you look up, it's 3:00 in the morning.
Damn. I ain't like that, bro. I mean, I wake up at 5 to take my kids to school, but I ain't getting up. I ain't staying up that late, dog, for creativity.
Yeah, if you got to get up at 5, you can't be going to bed at 3. That's 2 hours of sleep, bro. You got to get some kind of sleep before 5.
Right. I mean, bro, listen, last night I was in the bed at 10 o'clock, bro. I ain't lying. I was out of there. I was out of there, bro. I was tired.
My dog was celebrating the ball drop.
Celebrating the kids.
I was so out of it, bro. I woke up in the middle of the night, like, damn, somebody shooting. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Fireworks going on.
Oh, they was getting loose out here.
I was like, oh,
They
it's
was
the
getting
fireworks.
what?
Yeah,
I don't think I heard a firework last night. That was all gunshots.
Oh, it was all good. Oh, damn.
Bro, they was going crazy last night, bro.
Oh, that's wild.
Yo, I ain't never heard that many gunshots, bro. Normally, you can't kind of distinguish which one. Oh, that's a firework. That was it. Nah, them was all gunshots, man.
Guns? Oh, shit.
Yeah. So the kids, come on back inside.
Right.
Come on.
That fireworks.
Yeah.
But but if you guys watching the show, I really appreciate it. The name of the show is Let's Talk About It. Typically, we talk about different things, different social topics, experiences that we had in the past, and just give our advice on it, how we overcame it. Maybe it's something that can help you guys out, maybe in the future, maybe now, even in the moment. But so like I said, my name is Jay Miles. My podcast is Let's Talk About It, something I envisioned a while ago. So I'm really excited to see how it's growing. I got one of my best friends, Nick, one of my best friends, Chris, on the podcast. So they're going to be giving their commentary on different topics as well. If you guys watching from anywhere in the world, of course you are, just go ahead and like the page, subscribe to the channel. If you want to put it in the comment section where you're watching from, I would appreciate it. I'll shout you out on the screen here. So you guys some love for showing me some love and showing us for some love. I know it's the New Year's, you guys probably at home relaxing anyway if you had a long night. If you like seeing Chris, they go to sleep at 3, 4 in the morning. So, so I'm sure you guys probably just waking up anyway. But it's all good, man. But yeah, Nick, if you want to go ahead and talk about any projects you got coming out or anything that you're doing, any business endeavors that you want to promote and how people can get in touch with you, man, go ahead and do that.
I don't really have no personal kind of things going on, but just I changed my name because I ain't know, I didn't want to be selfish or nothing, but I see everybody got like their Instagram or whatever they so I changed my name. But I'm a DJ, so if anybody watching, I'm a DJ, do all events, but that's what I plan on like expanding on this year, just going like a lot harder.
Right.
And getting into this, not streaming, but like getting into YouTube and like creating like income, just by posting something, doing like review videos or something like that, just to get some like residual,
Right. I mean, if somebody was, wanting to reach out to you, for like bookings or anything like that, gigs, how can they get in touch with you?
So you can hit me on Instagram as DJ_most_random, or you can hit me on email, which I know probably nobody do, but reachmerandom@gmail.com.
All right, bet. So if you guys need a DJ, you got an event coming up, hit up my boy Nick. He nice now. He nice. Whatever you got going on, my dog play what is it, house music?
Man, I play everything. I'm a DJ, man. I play everything. I ain't gonna just, keep it trap or hip hop, because
right.
That's what people see a black DJ. That's what they automatically kind of think that that's all you play. Man, I'll do all rock and roll.
Yeah, my dog.
If that's what you want to hear.
My dog do bar mitzvahs and everything.
Yup, all of it. Weddings, I done did everything. Okay. Corporate events, all of it.
Right. Okay, my dog. C, what's up, C?
What's up, bro?
Man, shout out what you got going on. How people can follow you, man.
Well, I always have a bunch of stuff going on, bro. Me and Free, we just shot a music video. We supposed to be dropping it either today or tomorrow. Free got a album dropping today. We gonna start doing a production company, bro. The video turned out so good. It's like, hey man, we need to start selling this service. So that's the one new thing that we're gonna start doing. 2026, we're gonna start a production company. We already got a name and stuff, so we gonna launch it with this video. So that's really the only big thing that I got coming up soon.
So I mean, if people watching, they don't really know who Free is. Who is Free?
Free is the vegan rapper. Actually, I got on his sweater right now. His
That's
movement
great.
called the Bison Movement. He the vegan rapper, he always talk about veganism. Now, you know, I don't want you to get a misconception about the music. You know, my dog rap about everything, but that's like the underlying theme.
Yeah.
You know, we do think it's some things that need to be changed in the world, and you know, veganism is one of those things that kind of help in all aspects of life, not just, oh, you know, you got to save the animals, or you know, you got to eat better for health. You know, we think it got something to do with like mental health, you know, just how we interact with people. You know, we think that once you start thinking about veganism just in general, you kind of become a different person. So you know, you kind of hear that in the music. So even if he's talking about some relationship type stuff, he still, you know, throw something in there about veganism. So but
hey, bro. Hey, I love that, man. My dog always stay busy.
yeah, you know, you got to try, bro, in this world. Most definitely. I try and stay busy, keep my mind going.
Right. Well, guys, I mean, yeah, so like I said, you guys want to follow them, they did put the information in. Well, they did speak on the information, how you can follow them on social media, on Instagram, Facebook, and things of that sort. So for me, guys, like I said, just like the video, subscribe to the page, share, so you get other people involved in the conversation. I do appreciate all the support. You guys taking a moment or two to come, you know, chill with us for at least an hour while we chop it up. If you guys want to add to the conversation, like I said, you guys can put any questions, any concerns in the comments. Eventually, I could drop the StreamYard link. You guys can, if you want to come up and challenge us on anything, you guys are welcome to. I'm sure, you know, some people on the panel would love a little debate, a little one, two. So if that's the case, let me know. I'll put this link in the stream in the comment section so you guys can come up and take a look at it. So we'll kind of get started with the show for today. So just to kind of piggyback on, you know, what we were talking about last week as far as relationship goes, topics and things of that such. We'll just kind of pick up where we left off, and we'll just start here. So if my partner stopped explaining to her today, what part of me already knows why? I'll tackle this one first. I know that I didn't send you guys the information ahead of time, which is cool. So we could kind of just think on the fly. But if my partner stopped explaining to her today, what part of me understands why, already knows why, I think the part of me that it would be pretty much the part of me that's not listening. So a lot of times women tend to, even men, you know, we do this as well. We tend to voice our concerns. And if we don't feel heard, then we typically at some point shut down. I think a lot of times, you know, what really needs to happen is change behavior. And I think a lot of times that speaks louder than actually saying that I'm going to change. And that person just has to see it for themselves. See what you think about that, bro.
I think that if you are a perceptive person and you kind of pay attention to the things that go around, that's going on around you, I think that the one part of me that kind of already know why is like if it's a repeat thing. So if it's something about my behavior that I already know that I struggle with, and the person has been bringing that up to me, I that part of me, like the, you know, the perceptive part of me is the part of me that knows why. It's like, okay, you know, she kind of being a little bit closed off, or one of my homeboys, they're being kind of closed off. I just kind of replay our last couple of interactions and just see if it's something that, you know, I know about my personality that me and them had a conflict on. So I guess I would just say perception.
Okay. What do you think about that, Nick?
Just like looking into the question, and it says, if my partner stopped explaining their hurt today, I kind of look into the future with things, you know what I'm saying? And when I think somebody stops explaining or whatever it is, I think that come with time. You know what I'm saying? So like if somebody's in a long relationship and time is say I got, you know, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, you know, 10 years in, sometimes, you know, you kind of get used to a person and you already know what it is, and your body, your mind just kind of like, oh, that's just how they are. I'm not explaining, you know what I'm saying? I know they hurt, but hey man, look, I've been with them so long, I already know what it is. And you become kind of callous. Whereas in the beginning, if somebody or the woman or the man explain they hurt, you be all in. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, what can I do to stop it? What can I do to make you stop hurting? And you want to do everything, but as time goes by, I done went through some things, multiple things. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You stop kind of caring about their hurts, their, because it's like the normal for you now, just like an everyday kind of life thing, and the part that people already like, what it says, what part of me already knows why. I don't think people be thinking like that. I think they just be thinking about themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm okay. So like, you
Yeah.
tripping. You know what I
Right.
mean?
So I mean,
And
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, and I think just the way that ties into to each other is time, callous, you become callous, and selfishness. But if we talking about changing it, if you recognize it, like you really kind of gotta want to be in that relationship. you know if you want to, you will fix it. You know what I'm saying? But if you kind of like, this is the normal thing, we've been together so long, you like, man, look, I don't care what happened.
So for you, when it comes to, like you said, the callous or the numbness of it, but how does accepting that reality or accepting that lead to growth in the relationship? Or does it
Well,
does it does it
like I
actually
said, like,
growth in the relationship though? Because you're saying that, okay, you become numb to that person over time and their hurt and their pain, and it comes to a point where it's like, okay, well, she's this way this day, so you know what I mean, she just whatever, or he's just having a moment. Like, is that like to have that attitude, is that more passive? And if it is passive, how does it lead to growth?
well, like I said, you gotta want it. You know what I'm saying? That's the choice that you got to make first. As a man or woman, you got to want the relationship, or else it ain't gonna be no growth. You know what I'm saying? So if one person wants it, the other person don't, which sometimes happens in relationships, you got to figure out, what we gonna do about it. Because you got a lot of people in the world right now, they don't care about relationship or care about marriage or whatever it may be, but you do, or that other person does. So that's the question that, when it comes to that in a relationship, that's the question that, some people need to ask beforehand. But, like I always talk about, like nobody really taught us how to date or taught us how to court somebody or the right questions to ask before we actually get married. Because it 9 times out of 10 with men, it's always about, what, what I'm saying? It's like, get that first. And then, oh, I liked it. Now all of a sudden I like you. But when these type of things come up, you get like that. You know what I'm saying? You get like what I explained. Like when time goes by, man, I don't even really like this person. You know what I'm saying? So I think you have to really kind of, for this to like work, to, to have growth, together, you have to like want the relationship. But
Right.
if you do want the relationship, you know, you have to have an honest conversation and not lie. Like, some people be lying, they just want to say something to get the conversation over with, or the talk to get it over, because they don't want to talk about it. Most men like me, sometimes I know I do that. I just don't want to talk about it, but is that gonna fix it? No. But do I want my relationship? Yeah, I do. You know what I mean? So at some point we're gonna talk.
Yeah, because I think some people do get numb to it, and I think they still want the relationship, but some people are just kind of stuck to it because they don't know how to. I don't know. I think it's just a lack of effective communication on both ends. Because I can tell you my
Mhm.
problem, But if you don't respond to it, if you don't see that it's a problem for the relationship, then you're going to respond to it accordingly.
Yeah.
And that can stop the growth of the relationship. So what you think about that, C? I know we said a lot.
No, I agree. I was following. I agree. I do think that what he was saying about, you know, sometimes people become callous to, you know, certain situations. The, you know, what part of me already knows why. I think even a callous person knows at that point they just kind of being nonchalant with the situation. So, you know, they kind of know why the person is not explaining themselves anymore in the relationship at that point. But no, I agree with what y'all was saying.
Yeah. I think they know, you know, and but like, you know what I'm saying? Like over time, you just don't care. You know what I'm saying? Because the no is really why you don't care. You know what I'm saying? Because I know what it is. And we've been over this plenty times. You know what I'm saying? So now you like, I know what it is. I don't care to entertain it. You know, that's kind of what happens over time, where when you don't know that person like that in the beginning, you care. You know what I'm saying? Because you trying to put your best foot forward, so you care. You might got a good year of that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And yeah, and then all of a sudden you like, okay, I'm tired of this, you know, and so you stop responding as much.
Does that imply that you're taking that person for granted?
I don't think it's really taken for granted. What I think in these situations, like to me, it always goes back to like we jump into things so fast. You know what I'm saying? As young adults, or we just not. I'm just use this word, but we just not educated on relationship. You know what I mean? So what we was thrown with relationships was like all the BS. You know what I mean? And then we figuring out as we go. Cause you know, most men, I know I was, and I always go back to this because I don't like to just be talking and not, you know, make it seem like I'm just above everybody. But yo, I was hard headed when I was a teen. When I was in 20, I didn't want to listen to nothing. So you know, I don't want to speak bad on it, but my first marriage, like, yeah, people try to tell me like, yo, slow down, you know what I'm saying? Or hey man, I don't know. But my mind was like, nah, I know what I'm doing. Well, hey, well, look at us now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know how to handle relationship. You know, so I think that's what it all boils down to. Like, we have to stop jumping into things so fast and not knowing how to handle these situations. And if you don't have a certain type of like example, like I ain't had no examples in my family of how to stay married. You know, it was only one person in my family that was married. Everybody else wasn't married. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't have no examples on staying together. So it was like, you know, being with a different person was normal. You know, and so that's why I think all this stuff kind of comes in to where when this happens right here, when your partner stops explaining and stuff like that, I think this is the part that you just don't care. Because nobody ever told you, like, hey, I ain't gonna say nobody, but a lot of people probably told you just ain't want to listen. Hey, you need to care if you made that choice to be with that person, you know?
Okay.
But yeah, still hard headed because sometimes I don't care either. But
I do got a slight pushback on that. So I do think, okay, when you say that again, I say I got a little bit of pushback on that. So like the example part, you don't think that a lot of people learn better from experience, and that maybe, because I agree with you when you say that the person not doing it, you know, I guess maybe to be vindictive or taking a person for granted, because it could just be a part of your personality that you don't realize. Somebody pointed out to you, you say, okay, you kind of internalize it a little bit, but because it's just so much ingrained in you, you don't realize that, okay, a week from now, when I haven't been reminded of it, I'm doing this thing again. So the person have to kind of point it out to you again. So I don't think that the person might maybe taking you for granted, but I think that a lot of people learn stuff better from experience, because I've had people around me that knew definitively about certain things, and I still kind of had to do it on my own. I guess that's all of us kind of hard-headed. When you say that you was hard-headed, I guess all of us hard-headed, because it's like just that experience of knowing that this thing isn't gonna work out is priceless. You know, somebody telling you yes, but you know, just that experience of kind of going through certain situations, I think it might be a little bit more valuable.
Unfortunately, I think everybody has to. We're going to go through the experience either way. You know what I'm saying? I just think that's the world we live in now. You're gonna go through the experience, no matter no matter what. Most people are going to choose experience over somebody just telling them. Like, I think that's just the world today. Like, I have to find out. I have to figure it out. Nobody is just gonna be told unless you at work. You know what I'm saying? To do it this way, and you do it this way. You know what I'm saying? But when we out in the world, nah, we gonna be like, nah, I gotta know. You know, but hey, that's unfortunate. The only reason why I say it's unfortunate is because if we just listen, like, yo, 9 times out of 10, it works. Because that person, like for me, for instance, like when I be coaching and I be telling these boys, like, I've been there, right? You haven't. So when I tell you that they're gonna do a screen and he's gonna roll, but when he rolls, they're gonna pass it this way. If you decide to not listen, what's gonna happen? Yeah, we're gonna get scored on. A lot of us out here that don't want to listen, we getting 30 dropped on our head. You know what I mean? Well, we can listen and stop that. But that's just we just choose to not listen.
All right. Okay. Man, that's some good thoughts, man. I ain't gonna hold us too long on the first question, because we already like 30 minutes in. So I know that can carry over. Okay, so the next question here on the screen. Also, guys, if you're watching the video, I do appreciate you guys liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and share this conversation with others as well. If you want to be a part of the conversation, you know, I'll definitely drop the link in the comment section. You guys can come up in the studio. I'll bring you on screen, and you can challenge us, or you can add to the conversation, or you can just type it in the chat, and then bring it on screen, and we can talk about it. So the next question here is, what parts of masculinity are rooted in fear, control, or pride rather than love and humility? C, you want to go first?
I might need you to, you know, I know what masculinity is just on paper, but I might need an example of what you mean by masculinity, as far as like what it rooted in fear, control, and pride.
Right. Okay, so basically, this question here. So when it comes to masculinity, right?
I can't hear you, bro.
It's not rooted in any of these things. It's not rooted in fear. It's not rooted in control. It is not rooted.
You say what?
Can you hear me?
Hold on 1 second.
I hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me, Nick?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, cool. I don't know what happened. Probably was off screen for a second. But yeah, so now I was just saying, when it comes to masculinity, it's not rooted in fear, control, or pride. I think that that's what the world teaches us, though. You know, when it comes to be a masculine man, to control someone with fear, or to just be in a position of control or power, or even leading in pride and ego. A lot of that stuff is not real control. A lot of that stuff is false, and it's manipulated. I think that when it comes to masculinity itself, I think that's just the energy that you exude based on who you are and the confidence that you have in yourself. You don't have to use manipulative tactics in these particular areas to control an outcome of an individual. if you provide someone the option and let them make their own decision, and you good either way, I think that's the more masculine way to move accordingly. What do you think?
Me or
you was?
Oh, my bad. Yeah. See what you think.
Yeah,
see, I know you stepped out for a second. You want me to grab Nick real quick?
Yeah, let Nick go first, just so I can kind of hear what was going on, because my sound cut out for a little bit.
So
okay, what you think, Nick?
I think it really depends on your worldview. You know what I'm saying? Like what worldview you prefer. Like if you believe in God or in any type of religion, like you're gonna have a different perspective on masculinity. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But my worldview is Christianity. You know what I'm saying? So, but somebody else may not believe in that. So their masculinity may be rooted in fear, control, or pride. But I think those are all examples, and that can even be a Christian. You know what I'm saying? Because I think we're all like influenced by something we thought that a man should be, because unfortunately, again, most of us didn't have proper examples of masculinity, so if you came up like I did, masculinity was that. What I ain't gonna say necessarily fear, that may have been what it was rooted in, but masculinity was a sense of control, a sense of pride, and just kind of like doing things how you feel a man should do it. But that was all rooted in selfishness, like, because I need to feel good. But the Christian worldview, you know what I'm saying, of masculinity, I think has a little bit of all of that in it, right? Fear, control, pride, love, and humility. But I think that's the overall covering of what a man needs to protect his family. You know what I'm saying? But we just use it in the wrong way, and it becomes fear alone. You know what I'm saying? So if I fear something and I gotta protect this family, but I fear, I need a little bit of fear. I need a little bit of fear. How you want to say it? A little bit of fear to keep my family going, because I need to fear to not pay these bills. I need to fear that if they don't get paid, my family gonna be on the street. Or I need to fear that, if I do a certain thing, my family gonna suffer, and ultimately I need to fear God, because that's who gonna, if I'm in that, if I'm going off a Christian worldview, yeah, that's what needs to drive everything, but if we're not talking about that and we taking God out of it, then your masculinity is going to be a whole different thing, So I'll let C, expound on that. I know he got something.
Well, I'm still kind of struggling with this question a little bit, and I'll just tell you from what part. So when I see what parts of masculinity, in my mind, I would say that there's like direct things that you're correlating with being masculine. You saying like, if you get strong, or if you get intelligent, or masculinity means like you manipulate people. And then, so which one of those things are rooted in fear, control, or pride, rather than love and humility? So it's like just hard for me to, not saying that I can't define masculinity, it's just saying like what parts of it, like the things that I might think is masculine things, it might not be rooted in any of those things. Kind of similar to what Nick said, because even if you say that manipulation, that might be rooted in fear, control, or pride, you manipulating a situation, but that could be rooted in love too. Like, you could be manipulating a situation because like you love having your family together, and that if you tell them the truth about something else, yes, that's partially fear, but that's also love too. You might love your family enough to fear that it's going to break your family up if you say this thing. So, you kind of manipulate in this situation. So it's just a hard question for me to answer. But I do say that modern society have like a different labeling of masculinity where they say most of the things that we would say are masculine things is rooted in fear and control and pride and not love and humility, because, you know, I guess maybe they don't have to live the life that men live, or, you know, they don't face the situations that we face all the time. So I think that a lot of the things that we label, you know, being something that we doing in fear or control or pride is just mislabeled.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, we're just gonna leave it at
mine,
that.
like mine. Well, to answer what the question say about my masculinity, I think, like I said, mine is probably was and still is a little bit, you know, was rooted in fear. You know what I'm saying? Because of the example of masculinity that I was shown as a kid, you know, which is don't be a B, you know, a B, don't be soft, be like this. You know what I'm saying? You need to be hard, don't cry. You know, all of this stuff is what you taught. And now, do I think some of that is necessary? Yeah. As a man, I think some of that is necessary because I don't feel like you should cry over everything. But I feel like we should be able to cry because, yo, I think that's why a lot of our masculinity comes out in rage, because we hold so much in, you know, and then we get mad. And then what's the next thing we want to do when we want to get physical, you know? And studies show that we come out, we are I'm not gonna say masculinity, but our like mental instability comes from two things. I mean, it's shown in two ways. That's physical abuse or substance abuse. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we gonna show. We either gonna show it by breaking something or hitting somebody, or we gonna turn that bottle up or smoke something, or, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is. And this is only gonna like enhance it. You know, so I just feel like that's the level of masculinity that we have been shown throughout the years, unless you didn't have that, like that type of example. Like that's all I kind of seen with the men in my family, you know, not putting them down because they changed now, but that's what I seen.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree to a certain extent. I mean, even like you said about the whole, you know, as a child, you taught not to cry, to toughen up. Even as a child, I guess that was kind of push you in the direction of being, you know, manning up, toughening up, more masculine trait. But yeah, I don't know if that was always the best decision. So, but in any event, I think we both had some. I think we all had some really good points about our viewpoints on masculinity. And like I said, a lot of that stuff too is it always contradicts itself when it comes to, like you said, when you root it, when you're coming from a spiritual perspective and in a worldly perspective, when it comes to, you know, what it is to actually be, you know, of masculine energy. But yeah, I kind of think I expressed my opinions on it to begin with. But yeah, my masculinity is always going to be rooted in truth. You know, like I said, I typically want people to know the information, make your own decision, and then, you know, at the end of the day, I just deal with whatever comes with it. But I do understand the other perspectives of not sharing certain information for the betterment of keeping things together. So I understand that. So what's more important? What's more important, providing for financially? I'm sorry, I had a typo on this one. So what's more important, providing financially or showing up emotionally? I'll let you go first. See.
I think in modern society, bro, it's financially. I think you do have to kind of show up financially because, you know, most people emotional state is kind of up to their control. You could try to do anything in the world for a person emotionally, and they still just not satisfied with you in some type of a way. But financially, if somebody's in a good state, it's less likely that they'll be in a bad emotional state, or that at least they'll have the time and access to be able to work on their emotional state more. Even though I'm saying that and know that rich people kind of kill themselves too, so they don't have emotional situations completely figured out. But I'm just saying, based on the society, if majority of marriages end based on financial reasons, and then the next one is, some kind of emotional, or they grew apart, or whatever the next thing is, I would just say is financial.
Okay, what you think, Nick? Is it more important providing financially or showing up emotionally?
I kind of agree with C. Like, right now, it's financially, because that's just what the world sees. Like, I mean, you see it everywhere. If you're not breaking bread, like, you're not doing it. They don't even want to give you no type of emotional nothing if you're not providing financially. And bro, that's even the thing now. It's like women are kind of like, for lack of better words, like catching up how to get a man to get going. First thing they doing, hey, asking for some money. You know what I'm saying? Because they know if he ain't got that, I'm not giving you my number. But also, if you ain't got that, I'm not finna give you nothing. You know what I'm saying? You telling me that you ain't got it. But that's still a confusion thing, because, I'm not giving up no money on no first. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, you got to show me something emotional before I break bread with you. So it's like we had a standstill. But if you're in a relationship, that's hard. But marriage, I think they are hand in hand. I think financially and emotionally is both like equally important. It's just that sometimes it can get hard if we go back to the first question that was asked. The emotional part can get kind of confusing, and then now all you left is you're there for the financial support. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, so I mean, if you're saying like providing financially is a bit more important, what happens when the consistency is not there financially, but you are consistent with her emotionally? Is that
I think that just creates a little more problem, because we all know financially, if your finances are straight, most times you're not gonna have that many problems. Like, you're gonna have problems, you know what I'm saying? But it alleviates a lot of other problems that could happen. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to have. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. I ain't gonna cut you. Go ahead.
I said you don't want to have financial and emotional problems. What?
Yeah, that's tough. But yeah, this is a tough one for me. It's a very tough one. I mean, the only person that you're really liable to provide for financially would be your wife. So for me, I probably would lead with emotional consistency. I probably would lead with that. I feel like that's a bit more important. I mean, once you have a skill set, you'll be able to, if everything was taken away from you, you can still gain it all back. But the mental part of it, or the consistency, or the emotional intelligence, I think that's very important. I think that's the foundation of most relationships. I think it should be, but everybody, like we spoke on the last podcast, see, everybody may not be in it for that reason. Maybe it's the consistency of it is the reason why, they're still together. I'm sorry, not the consistency, the convenience of it. It's probably why they're still tied together. See, I see that look. See, you thinking about something.
Yeah. Oh no, I mean, I definitely got a rebuttal to that.
I know you got. I see. I see that vein on your forehead, dog. I already know. Go ahead, see.
I mean, yeah, even though you say that the only person that you financially responsible for is your wife, that's not true. Majority of friendships, most of the time that you link up with friends or you hang out with friends or you interact with your friends in modern society, it does take financial it does involve a financial part of that relationship too. We see all the time on social media that one friend that always go out with you and never want to pay for anything, that normally get that person excommunicated from the group, that normally get them kicked out.
But that's in a different context.
A good friend, like one of my good friends, I don't mind loaning them money. I think that's a part of that relationship, being able to rely on that person in certain situations. If you just call me and tell me your problems, or I might just be like, hey, I'm not your therapist. Or if you just call me all the time and tell me what's going on good in your life, I might be like, hey man, depending on how you interpret it, it's like, dang, you always calling me bragging about something. So at some point, it is that other part of the relationship, and people will kill you over their money. But they will kill you if they kind of get mad at you about something also, but normally that relates to some kind of material thing. So I just think that, financially in this society, in a perfect world, I agree. I would want it to be emotionally, because, when you die, you can't take your money with you, but, you kind of can't take your feelings with you either. But when you sitting home alone, money kind of don't matter as much as your emotional state. So, in a perfect world, I would say that the emotional side is more important, but I just know in this society it's financially. Once you start having financial strains, bro, that start a problem in a bunch of parts of your life.
I think like the key word is in modern society.
Well, hold on 1 second, nigga. I just want to kind of highlight the chat real quick. So AP, bro, what's up? I see. I'm sorry, Miss Adriana Palat. Okay, that's my mother right there. My mom. Got 2 moms,
All right.
Good. Everybody got more than one mom, and we got more than 1, 2, 3 brothers outside of the immediate blood. But so she said, I think emotional state is more important than money. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't think that there is no right or wrong answer to this question. I think that it all depends on who the question is being asked to and the perspective that the other person views it from. So, but like I said, everybody's opinion is open and welcome. If you guys watching, I do appreciate you chopping it up in the comment section. I'll bring it on screen and we can talk about it. Or if you wanted to come up and kind of challenge us on anything, I do appreciate that as well. And like I said, I do like what my brothers do have to say when it comes to, financially, because we can't ignore the reality of the situation because it's the times that we are living in. But again, we all have free will.
And it's rough out here. One person can't even really take care of a household now.
That's real.
Like now we kind of lead into it. Them kids got to help too. That's how much stuff is. You know what I'm saying? Like, because before it used to be just one person that can take care of it. Then it's now 2 people got to take care of it. Now it's like, hey man, I need you to get at that McDonald's real quick because you're using up all this water and all this electric. Because kids don't know how to turn no lights off. Or
man, let them kids keep that McDonald's check, man. Let them have that money, man.
Hey, no, I'm just saying that's how tough it's getting in this world right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's changing the outlook of what's more important. Like you said, in a modern world or in a perfect world, yes, emotional would be most important. You know what I'm saying? Because, just like I said, it's like you get on a plane, you got to take care of yourself first before you can take care of anybody else. But that's not what, quote unquote, what should happen with a man in a marriage. Because if you're going by the word, you're supposed to provide. provide under the context of what God wants you to do, that's everything. That's not just financially, that's financially and emotionally.
And
you know what I'm saying? So as a man, you kind of gotta have all of it. You know, it's just tough right now. Because we spending most of our time, or most men, like, you know, you spending most of your time, if you want to have the life that you want to have, out working or trying to get the money. Right, you know, like for you, for instance, I'm not gonna put you out there like that, Jay, but most of your time is spent working, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard. That's what you. So when the emotional availability comes about, it's like you may be a little bit stressed to give, you know, how you really want to or how you really could.
Yeah, and that's true though. You know, most men, because you know, and based on the character of of that man, right? A lot of times, you know, it's I'm not gonna say that it's completely on him, because women are in a supplemental role as well, and that may look different depending on what your relationship entails. You know what I mean? You got to have that conversation. So for what works for you may not necessarily work for you in another relationship because of the person that you went and maybe what they want. You know what I'm saying? But damn, I lost my train of thought with that one. You got me. I'm going somewhere with it. Okay, it's gonna come back to me, bro.
Right.
It's gonna come back to me. But yeah, in any event, though, man, I think it's you know, just gotta have that conversation with the person that you with, because sometimes, you know, you lead, and you know, what is it to a woman that is good financially? You know what I'm saying? Like, but she's stuck emotionally. You know what I mean? But all you have to offer her is money. What good are you to
that?
Her?
Yeah, that was to my point, to where if we going by the word, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Leading is under the guise of both of those things. You know what I'm saying? You have to lead financially and emotionally and everything else. You know, because, you know, I know some people get offended by this, but if you're the head of the house, the man is the head of the house. Now I've had this conversation with my wife, you know what I'm saying? Because you know, my train of thought was like that. Boom, I'm providing, I'm paying for stuff, and boom, leave me alone. You know what I'm saying? But she like, nah, she the first person that kind of brought that up to me. You know what I'm saying? That no, you have to lead emotionally too. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to provide. That's not just financially. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what we get from the world, that, yo, if I got the money and if I'm paying the bills, shut up. You know what I'm saying? Like, but when you're married, it don't work like that. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's equal. That's why I say I think it's equal. Like, I don't think one is more important than the other, because it's like it's gonna be like a what's it called? The weight thing, the scale. Like, too much emotional support means you kind of not working because you talking too much. You know what I'm saying? And if you tipping that scale the other time and you working too much, you ain't providing no emotional stability because you always out working. You know what I mean?
Bro, I don't think so.
Well, you know, teach his own, but that's what I'm going through. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? This is what I'm saying. It's like, boom, if I'm here, not because you can give bits and pieces, but I got a big family. I can't get to everybody all in one day or every day. Like, because if I'm giving that too much, like, who is providing me with emotional stability? You know what I'm saying?
My next question. That's what I was waiting for.
Yeah, who's pouring into me? I'm always giving.
It's always one-sided, because it's always going to be like, hey, you giving me money, but you know, you're not there emotionally. It's like, yeah, but I might not be a therapist. Nobody probably taught me how to be there for somebody emotionally. So saying that, you know, I got to be there for you emotionally, that might be a struggle for me. You know, it was something different that attracted you to me. If I'm not there for you emotionally at this time, I probably wasn't there in the past, because, you know, it's kind of like a character deficiency at that point. So I don't think that people look at it the opposite way. It's like the other person is getting both things, but in return, what do you get? Because if you're not doing financially, nobody cares about your emotional state. They don't say, hey, are you depressed right now? That's why you don't go to work. They're not going to care about that. They're going to just say, hey, you know, you're not doing what you're supposed to do around here. You got to do.
Is that you answering the question that's on screen?
No, I was waiting to answer the question from the beginning, because when y'all was saying that, it's like, yeah, if they equally important, why don't people care the opposite way? Like going back to that masculinity thing. They want you to be in control, you know, up under masculinity emotionally and financially. So it's not a negative thing at that point. It's like a positive thing. It's like, yeah, you should be in control of your emotions. You should be in control of the finances. It's like, but sometimes people say that that's a bad trait up under masculinity. So I think all of that stuff go hand in hand. I was just waiting for the spot to be like, hey, well, if that's the case, why don't people care about men's emotional state? Because Nick said that earlier. He said, you know, a man should be able to cry and not be looked down upon. Like he shouldn't be a crybaby, but if something happens bad, he should be able to kind of express that that's a bad thing. But society don't accept that. They say,
I mean, even in that example when he spoke, he was stating that from that was another man that was actually going at that young man in regards to you know, man up. You know what I mean? In that situation.
You ever cried in front of a girl? You see how a girl act if a man start crying in front of them?
But I'm saying though,
you all kind of names.
Right, I get that. You know, I mean, I'm talking about in the example that he gave. You know what I mean? There was a man that actually approached him and said that. So, but anyway, golly, man, y'all made so many good points. Y'all made me lose my train of thought, man. I was trying
hey, man, you the narrator. You supposed to be writing this down, bro.
No, I'm writing it down.
Hey, hey, get you some glasses too, bro.
Y'all just keep going. I'm trying to write it down at the same time.
Some of the reading glasses that the old people wear.
No, because I'm trying to write.
You don't even need to use them, bro. Just pull them down when something get important.
No, I'm trying. Okay, so Mom was saying, so if your emotional state aren't good, how can you go out and function and get the money and the finances that you need? Which is a good point. What you think, Nick?
I feel like that goes with masculinity. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's a trait that we should be taught coming up. Like I said, don't be soft or like C said, like no crybaby, whatever. But we got to learn how to do things with pressure on our back, because it's always going to be pressure. So with our emotional state, like it's hard. One thing I know is men compartmentalize. Like we like to deal with one thing at one time. You know what I'm saying? So oftentimes when we go to work, we at work. You know what I'm saying? So I can't speak for all men, but I know me, when I get into work, unless it's like a death in the family, you know what I'm saying? Right. Like, you know, something real personal. But even with that, like, you know, I kind of changed my outlook with that now, because my thing, I'll get into that later. But when I get to work, I'm not thinking about nothing outside of these walls. I'm working.
Right.
And then when I get home, on that ride home, that's when the emotional, whatever's going on at home, that's when you like, should I go to Walmart real quick? Like, because I just don't want to deal with it. Right. You know what I'm saying? But I done made the money. But when I get home, like going back to it, it goes on my emotional stable, but I got to make sure everybody else is.
Right.
You know, but to answer that question, me going to work, I can't speak off for all men, but I don't be thinking about nothing outside the walls once I'm working. Like if I'm DJing or if I'm coaching, I ain't thinking about nothing but that.
Yeah, that's what I was told too, man. Men not great multitaskers, bro. And it's true, because we usually just kind of locked in on what it is that we want to do.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, to teach his own, you know, trying to be more I'm trying to grow in that area, because like I said, when I am locked in with work, just like how we all are as men, that kind of goes back into, our nature, especially people that already have that in them to want to be a provider. A lot of times we tend to, we absorb ourselves in what it is that we're doing. So when it comes to actually meeting the needs of our partners or communicating effectively with our partners, that's areas where we do lack at. And it's not intentional. It's just I think that's just how we
it's
are.
definitely not intentional.
But I think that once it's brought to our attention, we have to make more of an effort to be conscious in that area, because that kind of falls into that question that we spoke about before. When you don't make that change, you don't see that change behavior. That's kind of like when a person starts to check out of explaining what it is that's what's wrong with them, because they don't feel like they're being heard. So as men, I think we do have to be better at being able to not be so self-absorbed in what it is that we got going on. And like we said before in the episode, see, just kind of stopping and smelling roses, or being attentive to the things that we have outside of when it comes to being a provider, because there's more to being a leader than just being a leader financially. You have to lead emotionally. You have to create a safe space. Both partners have to create a safe space for each other where they can come together and talk about whatever it is that they're going through. But a lot of times men lead and women follow, especially when they feel safe to do so. And that's something that, our children are watching as well. So it is important for them to see that behavior so that they can learn how to communicate effectively with their spouse or their potential spouses when they do get older. So, man, it's some good conversations, bro. But we already like an hour in, bro, and I still got like a lot more questions.
Hold on, I want to see what she got to say,
man, because I don't want to hold y'all.
Yeah, keep going, bro. I think I did inadvertently answer that last question, but I will add one more thing to it. When just only the part when they say, how can you go out and function and get money and finances that you need if your emotional states aren't good? I see all the time when people go into work and people be like, leave your problems at the door. Like, don't bring your problems into work. So I think just overall society don't care about your emotional state when it's time to do your job. So I think it trickles back into relationships. I think women might view it a little bit different because, just I guess maybe human nature wise, women do kind of lean more on emotions than guys. That is a generalization, but I do just naturally feel that way. Sometimes we can put our emotions to the side because we just know that these are kind of things that we have to do. And society is kind of forcing women into that same role too, where they have to, if you're a single mom, you have to provide for your family financially. You have to think about the finances, but then you have to kind of look at the emotional state of, the family. Also, you're in control of both things. So I think women kind of view the situation a little bit different, but in a partnership, I just think that men, people don't really care about men emotional state. That's why through history, men have like a higher suicide rate, and we just have more problems as far as like emotionally, because when you do have a man that start to kind of pay attention to their emotional state, sometimes it go left.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I can definitely contest to that too, with being because I'm an insurance broker, so I can contest to that. So men's mortality rate is a lot younger than women. Women tend to live longer than men a lot of times, and a lot of times it's due to the stress. So the mortality of men is less than that of a woman, but women tend to have more issues when it comes to healthcare and things of that sort. So that is true.
And men, studies do show, and like it's to piggyback back off what C said about our emotional state. Studies do show that men often commit suicide more than women, but women are more suicidal. You see what I'm saying? Like men, I think because of our emotional state, we hold stuff in, we go through it. We go through with it. You know what I'm saying? But women are more suicidal to where they have a tendency to think about it more, but they won't do it. And the way we handle emotions is different because when a man does it, now this is study. I mean, I actually like just came off of a class with this, so that's why I'm putting it out there. So, with men, the reason why we go through it is different than a woman, is because we feel like with me gone, the weight of whatever it is will go away. Mm-hmm. And with women, it's more so, if I do it, I'm gonna be leaving y'all with this pain. So this is why they don't do it. Mm-hmm. But with us, we feel like if I off myself, you're not gonna have the problems anymore. And that's how we deal with, we deal with emotion different. So to go back to the question of, is emotion, I think we handle it differently, and when they don't, I'm not going to say everybody doesn't care about a man's emotional, but that's just the way the world kind of set up right now and before. And it's more so leaning towards, because, and I'm not like putting women or men down or whatever, but the roles, it's being reversed. Like women weren't able to do a lot for a long time, so they fight for that spot now. What about me? What about me? What about me? You know what I'm saying? Because it was always about a man. It's a man's world, quote unquote. You know what I'm saying? That was a song, but now it's changing. So I think this is why we starting to have a lot of these things, because things have to go on when change comes.
And I think a lot of it, and that is true. So when it comes to suicidal reasons, like you said, men and women do it for different reasons, which is true. So I do appreciate you bringing that up too. And I think that too, gosh, man, I'll be writing these chunks down, and y'all just too much good stuff at me right now. But yes, what I was going to say was, yes. So the world itself, though, you have to be competitive in this world, right? And I think a lot of times, men, we typically have a nature to compete. Not saying that women don't have a nature to compete, but I think we just have a little bit more of that to where we're able to sustain the downfalls or the hardships of it a lot better than, we're able to regulate those emotions, I think, a lot better than when it comes to our counterparts, women. Right. But because of so much right now, women are in positions where they are in, operating in a more masculine role. I think that does, I think that does play a major part into, like you were speaking in regards to the suicidal things and like of that nature. But there was something I wanted to say to kind of tie all that stuff in. It'll come back to me, bro. I just be trying to jump as we going down.
I do want to say something real quick to what Nick said. He did. Even in Nick's example, he still pointed out the same thing. He said men do it to alleviate a problem most of the time, not every time, but most of the time they do it to kind of alleviate an issue. And women do it to kind of put people in a different emotional state. They doing it because it's like, hey, I want to get this person's attention or get these people attention so bad, or just show them like, hey, I can be removed from the equation, that they finally go through with the process. And then guys put the emotions to the side and say, hey, if I'm not here, then, it's less court battles that my kids have to go through with me and the mom, with me trying to split custody in between the kids. I'll just remove myself from the equation. So it's still, both situations is still kind of point out.
Let me clarify. Let me clarify what I was saying.
I wanted him to speak on that one because you went to a bit extreme. But go ahead.
Nah, I get what he's saying, but I'm gonna just clarify what I was saying. It was that men do it to alleviate a problem because they feel like without me, they feel like I'm the problem. Without me, the problem would go away. Women don't do it. They're, like I said, they're more suicidal because they're thinking about how others would feel if I was gone. You see what I'm saying? So their emotions is tied to other people's emotions. So I'm not going to kill myself because this is going to hurt my kids. I'm not going to kill myself because it's going to hurt my husband or my mother or my father.
Okay,
Men,
that is different.
Yeah. Men are doing it because we have these problems, and I feel like I am the problem. So if I alleviate myself, this problem will be gone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So now what they said about women actually going through with it is because they deal with their emotions with depression and anxiety. They have anxiety, you know, and they feel like it's too much for them to handle. So that's why if they do, that's why they would do it, because they feel like it's more things like I can't do it, you know, I can't go on.
Right. And that is true. I think that does prevent a lot of women from dealing with those things. And I think a lot of people do deal with depression, anxiety, different mental illnesses in different ways. But yeah, guys, I mean, if you're dealing with something that's, you know, of that level, that's critical, you know, just reach out for help. And I think that's why these conversations are very important, because I think we enlighten a lot of people to the conversations of things that, or different traumas that other people may be experiencing, but not necessarily anyone to talk to, or maybe you know, feel alone in situations like this. So, but yeah, we'll just go ahead and go to the next question here.
Hold on, your mom had said something.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Bro, you want to address this comment too?
No, I didn't know. You know, I didn't know if you make it feel look like you overlooked her question.
I was trying to. It's like stuck. I can't see it completely.
She said, money gives a false sense of love. That's not love.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Money does give a false sense of love. You know,
to a certain extent. Not 100%, because if you invest money into something, you got to have a certain level of love for it.
I mean, there's people every day that
can be the only defining reason, but yeah.
There's people that have millions and millions of dollars worth in capital that only invest just to grow their money. They don't love the idea of it. They just see it as a smart investment.
Yeah, but when you don't have a bunch of money and you invest your money into something, then at that point, then you got to have some kind of love for it. You got to think that that's your way out. Is,
I mean, that sounds like, you know,
anything that you nurture,
like hope, like, you know, especially, you know, if you're down to your funds are low and you're putting money into something based off speculation, that's not love. That's just gambling. It sounds like you're just trying to dial into
when we talking about people.
Yeah. I feel. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
Oh no, you good. Go ahead.
I feel like, just to go off that, like, I feel like in business, I don't feel like you have to love it or have a sense of love for it. You just want to make more money. You know what I'm saying? And your whole premise is, I don't want to lose my money. But that's why you got people that do market research and all that other stuff. Right. But when it comes to relationship or with a person, I feel like money is a tool. You know what I'm saying? And if you got more of it, it can help some things. And if you don't, it can make some things worse. But I feel like it can be, like she said, it can give off a false sense of love depending on how you use it, because it's a tool. You know what I'm saying? So we know money is not love. Like, yeah, we know that's not love, but money can be a way to help express my love. You know what I'm saying? So if I know my wife likes a certain thing, if I don't got the money, I have to find another type of way about it. But having the money can sure make it a little bit easier, because that thing that she wants, me getting it, the money isn't what expressed the love. Me actually getting it.
Getting it,
and I just had the tool of being able to use the money that I had to be able to get it.
Right, right.
But if I use the money in a bad way, like I don't really care, I'm just, man, just go get her something, and I don't care.
Right.
Yeah, that's giving off a false sense of love. That's just to shut somebody up. Yeah, here, take the. I'm paying the bill. Be quiet. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's a false sense of that's. And even then, yeah, it could be a false sense of love, but I feel like it's more deep. I feel like you ain't really love him in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So you just kind of trying to make things easier because, once again, with the world got out, it's cheaper to keep her. So now you just got to give up. Now you're giving up the money that you have, so you don't have to give up more money in the end. But I just think money is a tool. It just really depends on how you use it.
Yeah.
And even like in the word, like people always mix this up, like because you always hear a lot of the times like money is the root of all evil. You know what I'm saying? Like we all heard that saying. They got it in songs, they got it in movies, but it's actually wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because the words say for the love of money is the root of all sort of evil. That's what the scriptures say. So it's not about loving money. I mean, you shouldn't love for money, but if you do love money, it's the root of all sort. You will do evil things with it if you love it. But if we place more love in our people, then we'll use the money as a tool to make others happy and express love.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. And yes, I was talking about relationship wise. So like, yeah, you could just spend your money wherever and you don't necessarily have to love it. I could go and buy a shirt and not love the shirt and, had to spend money on it. But I'm talking about in a relationship, the interacting with people. And then on top of that, I'm saying not in situations where you have a bunch of money. I'm talking about in a situation like, I saw my granddad work all his life and my grandma never worked, and my granddad invests all his money back into their household. I never really saw my granddad provide emotional support. But the fact that he got up every day early in the morning, Javon hours, 5 a.m. and went to work and got off at my hours, 3 a.m. in the morning, because he was working all day. He had 10 kids and, he was trying to provide for his family. And the fact that he brought his money home and handed it over to his wife that didn't work to be able to take care of the household, I think that's one defining factor in love.
She worked.
Yeah,
she had 10 kids.
She definitely worked, especially 10 times. She worked real hard, bro. But I'm saying from the standpoint of like just bringing money in. So she wasn't putting money into the relationship. Maybe her investment was all emotional, making sure that the kids, was in a good emotional state and, helping them out educationally. But my granddad, with the only thing that he was able to do was work. He worked all his life up until, he was an old man and put all his money into his household. To me, that's love. He could have went and bought him a Corvette and rode around in a Corvette as opposed to, making sure that his kids had a Nissan Altima because he had 10 kids. So, he had to buy 10 different cheaper cars. He could have said, no, I want to go and get me a Corvette. I don't care what they do. They 17, 18, he could go get a job and work and, go get his own stuff. So, I'm just saying it relationship wise, when you do put your money into your household, I think that's a form of love. It might not provide somebody with a good emotional state eventually as they kind of living through the situation, but I can't say from that other end that's investing that money into the relationship that they not showing love in their own way. It might be messed up because the society equates money and love in bad ways, but there's also other ways where money does relate to love in relationships.
Yeah. And I think it's the act. I think it's the act. Because the act of your grandfather was him going to work to provide. His intentions was to provide so that they could have this house and have food for 10 kids. And he had to get the money. You know what I'm saying? The act of love was him doing that. You know what I'm saying? Now the money, yeah, that's a tool. You know what I'm saying? Her act of love was taking care, and maybe when he came home, I don't know the situation, maybe when he came home, he had something to eat. You know what I mean? That's the act of love, and that's the togetherness. I think that's what a lot of us don't have, because we so worried about who's doing more or who's not doing more. I'm doing more than you, so I don't care what you did. I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. What are you doing? You're only going to work. I think that's what we more so worried about now than freaking money.
Do you think that when those situations arise, though, when someone kind of keeping track of what they're doing as opposed to what the other person is doing, do you think that brings a sense of competitiveness to the relationship, or a sense of resentment to the relationship, or what do you think about that?
Say that again.
So when you said that when a person keeps count of what it is that they're doing that they bring to the table in a relationship, do you think that by highlighting what the other person is not doing, do you think that brings a sense of competitiveness to the relationship, or a sense of resentment to the relationship? Or does it all depend on the perspective that the person is coming from? Because sometimes people use that as a way to attack a person that is actually trying to better themselves in the relationship, but instead of uplifting them, they're using it as a tactic to beat them down.
I think it's all of those things. I think we are doing all of those things that you said. Mm-hmm. It turns to a sense of competitiveness. It turns its pride, like however you handle it. But I think it just goes back on how you was raised. You know what I'm saying? And what you seen coming up. That's who you're going to be until something changes you.
Right.
Because that's the only thing you had. If you never had an example of how you should handle these situations, guess what you're going to do? You're going to go off emotions on how you feel. Right. If you're not reading the word to tell you, maybe this is how you should handle the situation. But like I said, emotion, unless you're like seriously emotionally intelligent and you've been through this stuff like that and had experiences, yeah, it's gonna be tough to really know how to handle these situations. Mm-hmm. But the way I take it is, I believe what the word says, man. And this all isn't just happening. Like it said it in the Bible that, we're all, since the separation of our relationship with God, we're going to have trouble in all of our relationships. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And this is just the result of not the second sin in the Bible, Adam and Eve.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It says the word, we're always going to have problems in all of our relationships, and that's including our marriages. Mm-hmm. So if we're not understanding that we're going to have problems, this is going to hit you like a ton of bricks. You're going to be shocked when stuff happens.
So guys, when he referred to the second sin that happened, the first sin was the rebellion in heaven. So that's what I think he's referring to. So just So, but any event, so just to kind of answer the question that's on screen, why would anyone bring a woman into your life who also does not bring something to the table? Two is always going to be better than one, which is true. I think nowadays, especially with the society that we living in, two is always going to be better than one. Society will preach to women all the time that, if a man is not 100% able, then it's best for you to do it alone and go after the man that is able to. But a lot of times what happens is the men that are able to, chances are the type of woman that they want may not be necessarily you. You understand what I'm saying? So to leave something that two pieces that was creating a whole to now be at, at the disparity of it, of where you have to do it 100% yourself is I think now it's very tough. Nick even brought up the example earlier that you got to get the kids checks nowadays. But
cut some grass or something.
cut some grass or something. But it just basically, you know, like I said, the world itself is men that I deal with, we typically are competitive. You know, and in the endeavors that we're doing, we get up every day, we compete, and not just that we're competing with we in the totality of it, yes, we are competing with other men in this world and even women as well, because, you know, women do obtain space in the workforce and are competitive and are creative. But I think for us, I think we are able to endure it a little bit more. You know, if you're in the word, you know, the first assignment that Adam was given in the word in the Garden of Eden was to maintain and work and keep up, you know, with everything that was there. And then God seen that, and he gave him a helpmate in Eve. But any event, I do think that two is always going to be better than one. You guys want to kind of add to that conversation? What do you think about that, Chris?
I mean, to be able to answer the question better, I would have to know what the something is that the person is bringing to the table, because like what Nick pointed out with my grandparents, my granddad brought his money. You know, he wasn't really able to, you know, my granddad, real old school, you know, he could barely even read too good or comprehend reading too well. But, you know, he did work every day, all day, to be able to provide for his family. And like Nick pointed out, my grandma, when I was like, oh, you know, my grandma didn't work, that didn't mean that she didn't bring stuff to the table. She had his kids. She kept his household together. She paid the bills because my grandma could read. He was kind of codependent on my grandma to make sure that he didn't get scammed out of anything. Yeah, she cooked. So, you know, it depends on what you mean by the something that the person is bringing to the table. It might not necessarily be money from both people. It might be that one person do provide money to the household. That's how they pour their love into the household, and the other person pour their love in a different kind of way. I guess it's just the way that you define love or the something that you bring into the table.
But even not knowing what that something is, but if that something is beneficial, is that still better than one?
Well, we was just talking about money being a false sense of love, so I was just kind of keeping it with that same conversation. But no, you know, if my granddad didn't work, they could, you know, maybe they could have been homeless and, you know, still in love, and they both did their own thing. My granddad built the tents, and, you know, my grandma still cooked when he came home to the tent up under the bridge. So, you know, it's just you know, whatever that something is based on your relationship, that's like a thing that got to be defined. And you know, she, from this comment, you know, she is an older lady. These new girls, when you say, hey, bring something to the table, that's a whole thing on the internet right now saying, hey, you know, I am the table. You know, it's like they don't even define what this thing is that they do for the guy in the relationship. It's just like, no, you should just be happy with me. I get what
I think where the conflict is with this situation is when we talk about the nature of a man and the nature of a woman, right? They're two different things, but together they create wholeness, right? And I feel like the nature of a man doesn't care about what a woman necessarily brings to the table. You know what I'm saying? Because, and I'm not saying that he is the table, but I'm saying the nature of a man is to provide. So if I'm providing for somebody, why do I need you to bring something? You know what I'm saying? I think the way the world is now, like we're stating now, yes, these things are changing, as the word says, which I don't know particularly if we're in the end times, but it's, you know, looking at certain things, it seems like it. But it said roles will be reversed. You know, first will be last and the last shall be first. Roles going to be reversed. I think this is some things that's going on because
confusion.
And I think what's happening is once you get that man out of the household or get him out of his natural being, who he is, right? Things will start to be confusing. It'll be messed up. And I'm not, like I said, I know people get offended by this conversation, but I'm not saying that, one is more important than the other. I'm not saying a man is more important than a woman, or a woman is more important than a man. I just feel like we have two distinct roles that when you put them together, they become one role. They become one thing that betters both things. So yes, two is better than one in that aspect. But what I bring to the table, not necessarily saying is the only thing that matters, but I'm not worried about what she brings to the table. I have to do what I'm supposed to do, and you do what you're supposed to do.
But
you know what I'm saying?
My bad, I didn't mean to cut you off. But isn't what she's doing isn't her doing what she has to do is what she brings to the table? So shouldn't you care about that? Because you don't
that's
have
what she. That's what. So it's like one of the.
Wait, because I was saying you don't have a complete thing without her bringing her half.
So what I'm to further like explain what I'm saying, like it's like a kid coming home and saying, "Hey, I passed my test," and we all, "Hey, you passed the test." Yeah, you should do that, but at the same time, like you're supposed to pass that test. Like, what are we talking about? Like, you're supposed to. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm supposed to do these things. This is what I'm wired to do, to provide. But I think somewhere down the line, these things get mixed up. But now I think it's all in pride that somebody has to bring something to the table because you want more. You want millions of dollars. You want this. And it's not wrong to want that. But when you love somebody, I don't care. I don't care what you got. I love you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I don't care what you bring to the table. I love you. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Now, if you did bring something to the table, hey, better for us. You know what I'm saying? That it better for us. But I'm not with you because of what you got or what you have. I liked your character. I like who you was. I like the core of what you showed me after you put your best foot down. That's what I like.
And it may
not because you had the great job or you had the money. You had that's what I'm supposed to be having.
Right. And that's kind of like what I wanted to kind of dig out of you is that, it's not necessarily what it is that a woman has that's tangible that she brings to the table. Sometimes that woman may bring peace to your life. And that part of it is very important. Or that woman may bring a common spirit to you. You know what I mean? In the sense where you had things around you that was in chaos. You know what I'm saying? But yes, I mean, you did speak on, the nature of men and women. And for me, the nature of a man, there's a lot of areas that are layered under that particular topic. So when it comes to the nature of a man, a lot of people lead with providing, but it's not so much. Of course, we know as a man, it's not so much providing. So it's usually providing, protecting, structure, discipline. But nowadays, well, any of those areas, I don't think one is greater than the other.
It goes back to
Yeah, so I think they're all on an equal plane. You understand what I'm saying? But what we're being preached to right now, well, I'm not gonna say what we're being preached because we know better, but what the message is right now is it's always in regards to if that man is able to provide, if he's able to provide, you know what I'm saying, in that situation. So if he doesn't have that, a lot of times all the other three things are he can be great as a protector. He can have great he can instill great discipline in the children. He also can create great structure in the family. But all those things get cast aside if he's in the area where he's lacking and to provide. And not necessarily saying that he does not provide. He may not just provide in the sense that you would like. You understand what I'm saying? Or in those particular areas. But now a lot of time it's being preached to men in particular is you have to be 100% provider or else you don't get my respect. But he passes in flying colors in all the other areas. Why do you think that communication is so widely why do you think that type of communication or that message itself is what's being preached to the masses, Chris?
Well, I do. I got to give a kind of like a strange answer to that. It do go back to masculinity and what both sides bring to the relationship. So although I don't think that is completely right based on the fact that men and women are kind of raised in the same type of mentality, as opposed to like back in the days where gender roles was more needed. I do think that just being a man, it just kind of don't sit right. Even with, I would just only speak on myself, kind of being home, even if I'm a smart person and I could teach my kids to read and calculus, and I would be the better teacher for them, to have my wife go and work and be able to come home and take care of the home, like be a at-home husband. It just wouldn't sit right with my soul, because it's like, I don't, why is a woman, kind of taking care of me? I just think that it's just more socially accepted to be like, I'm a at-home wife, and my husband go out and work and provide for the family. So it's kind of like a balanced thing for me. I don't really see anything wrong with the situation, but I can also admit that it might not be right 100% to handle relationships in that manner.
What do you think about that, Nick? Why do you think that's the message right now that's being preached so heavily?
The nature of sin and separation. You know what I'm saying? I don't see anything wrong with a woman working, but now that women are making more money, right? They're probably making more money than men, like in most cases, you know. And then when you go back to the old saying that they used to have, you pay the cost to be the boss, right? If this woman is making more money than you, then you should shut up. You know what I'm saying? And I'm doing this, so I don't need you. You know what I mean? And that's what it comes for. So I think that's where it gets mixed up, because real men, right? When we're providing, we're not thinking of that. I don't need you. Most men is like, yeah, I need you. Actually, once again, did a study, right? And that's only because I'm in school. It took me a long time to get in it, but now I'm in it, But it was a study that shows that they asked a few women, could you live in this world without men? Out of the 10 women that was asked, now this is just a small, 10 women that was asked, only one woman said, I can't live without men. Out of the 10 men that was asked, every man said, I can't live without a woman. You know what I'm saying? For any aspect, whether that was emotional, whether obviously for, I don't know how clean the podcast is, but for that reasons, and just other reasons. But women often feel like, if I'm doing it, I don't need you. So I think that's the whole premise of why it's mixed up, because, and I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm not saying women shouldn't make money, but I feel like that's what's causing this whole it's causing this whole thing, because it's more so, if I'm making it, I don't need you. And that's been the whole thing from day one. This is what Satan has always wanted, for the men to not be needed.
And go ahead.
Yeah, no, you can go ahead.
Yeah, so if that's the message that is being heard, that women don't need men, why do men feel that if they're making a lot of money that they still need their woman?
I think it's the nature of a man. You know what I'm saying? Because who are we going to provide for? You know what I'm saying? Like we supposed to provide for our kids and our family. The first ordeal that God gave to a man, like you said before, was to be fruitful and multiply, work and till the land. Our first ordeal was to work and provide. You know what I'm saying? And so if we can't do that for somebody, if we can't do that for somebody, then what we gonna do? You know what I'm saying?
Mm. So yeah. So like I said, it does sound like a lot of people being misled, a lot of confusion going on. Dang, that's tough right there. Women say they're making that money, they don't need us, huh?
I mean, yeah, it was, and then once again, I'm gonna do another one with
Oh,
people that don't hold faith. Go ahead, my bad, because I know you. Go ahead, get it out, bro.
I lost it that quick. Go ahead, bro.
Dang, bro.
I was trying to catch you, bro. I lost it that quick. But listen, I do want to shout out to people that's watching though, because we've been having some people that's been tuning in for the episode. I really appreciate you guys been rocking with us for a little bit over an hour. My goodness, we almost 2 hours in the conversation, and
that went fast.
It really do, bro. You just be talking and really, talking about different things, giving perspectives on different subjects, different topics, and I really appreciate the people that's tuning into the show, because you could be somewhere else watching some garbage, but you're here rocking with us, and I really appreciate that. So yeah, like the channel, like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when we go notify, so you get notified whenever I go live. And if you're ever willing, if you want to come up and chime in on the conversation or challenge us on any thoughts or anything like that, you guys welcome to. I'll put the link in the description there, so you guys, in the comment section, you can come up if you ever feel the need to, or you could just keep it in the chat. That's cool, and I'll bring it on screen and we'll talk about it. But yeah, man, it's a real good conversation. But I do want to shout out though my uncle, man, Uncle Real, chimed in the comments, say he on the road right now, but he listening in. Hey man, I appreciate you, Uncle. Man, I got some good responses from when you was on the episode too, man. I got to get you to come back up soon, man. I'm gonna talk to you though. I'm gonna talk to you soon, and we'll try to make something happen. Uncle got that wisdom, man. So
and he got that radio voice too.
Yeah, you wouldn't know that when Uncle was up, Nick, man. Uncle got the he's a little silver fox, man. He got him out there, man. The little gray and silver beard with the radio voice.
Man, y'all can see that. Dang.
Nah, I ain't talking about you. I'm talking about my uncle, bro.
I thought you were saying.
Nigga, we ain't worried about you.
Yeah, I'm trying to cover it up. Shoot.
I know, right? I barely see yours, but I know you got them.
Hey, that's dying, my boy.
I definitely got
just for men.
I definitely got mine. I'm the youngest of us three, but I definitely got mine in.
Yeah.
Oh man, but it's dope though. I guess maybe we could tackle one more. Because it's almost 2 hours and I don't want to hold anybody up.
I was free today, so I knew I had to do this. So I know the last one, the Christmas one, I couldn't, it was a lot going on. So
right. Yeah, I got you now. No problem, bro. Okay, we got another comment here. Say, man, he said the great. You gotta leave that die alone, Nick.
Hey, look, man, I'm a DJ. They gonna call me DJ Grayed Out. Man.
DJ Grayed Out. Oh man. But yeah, I'll definitely let you know when I need to holler at you so we can get you back on the episode, man. I'll be spending that knowledge, man. Definitely. Man. In any event, I think a lot of the stuff that I was gonna bring on the screen, we kind of talked about it. Okay, so we'll kind of end with this one here. In conflict, why is it important to protect the relationship? See, I'll let you go first.
I think that it's important if you care about the person, if you care about the relationship, then it's always important to protect the things that you care about. That do translate back to masculinity, us kind of being protectors. That originally and throughout history, that was the thing that we brought to the table, protection. So protecting your relationships, I think that go hand in hand with it.
Oh, okay. So just protection for the relationship.
Is it like a specific part of it that you're saying to protect? Like, when you I've left out the first part. In conflict, like in conflict with the person that you're in the relationship with, or just I think that shows problem solving skills, and being able to work with people, being able to still kind of protect the relationship, saying, hey, we might have this disagreement, but that's not going to interfere with our relationship, our marriage, or our friendship. That's not going to interfere with it. Just kind of growing up where I grew up, I might fight with one of my homeboys the night before, and then the next day we still hanging out like nothing happened. We got whatever we needed to get out of our system, and then that didn't affect our relationship across the board.
Okay. I would say I was going to tackle this one next. I would say in conflict, it's important to protect the relationship in that moment, because that's probably when the relationship is at its most weakest point. So a lot of times, when you can only stretch things so far until it actually breaks, right? So you just got to pay attention to how far you pulling away, and if that's the case, then you got to try to figure out a way to, as the man in that relationship, and women should do it too, but as the man in a relationship, especially when you come to a point when you have that emotional intelligence, just to say, okay, this is what's going on in this moment. This happened before, so let me respond differently so that I can get a different outcome. And because I do want to be with this person, and I do want to show her that, okay, that I'm trying to grow in this area. So it's all about how you respond in conflict. Shows me a level of maturity. It also shows me that when the relationship is being most challenged, that you're still willing to stay, and you leading by example. Because if you're willing to stay, 9 times out of 10, if she wants the relationship, she'll be willing to stay as well, and kind of move differently. And as you guys grow together, I think the way that you communicate that will look different, as it has in the past. So not to be so long, but what you think?
Good. Spit, bro.
Oh, be too long-winded, bro. But
yeah. I think in conflict, it's important to protect the relationship, because I think that is what God wants us to do. Mm-hmm. Always be in relationship with our fellow man, fellow woman. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And this is not just romantic relationships, just any relationship. Now it depends on the conflict, but I feel like in all conflict, most conflicts are just misunderstandings. Mm-hmm. So if you just jump off the wall through every conflict, you're not protecting the relationship, because you kind of showing that person, hey, they can't handle it. You know what I'm saying? And this mm-hmm. can kind of further drive, more conflict. But in the end, the whole thing with God was separation from him. That's what creates conflict. So, to me, it always goes two ways, man. It just depends on if you're a person of faith or a person of not have it, because you definitely gonna deal with things different, And one of the other things is that I'm more lean to, like in conflict, we need to have the tools to know how to deal with conflict, because in relationships, if you don't care about the relationship, you're not gonna hold your tongue. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna say some pretty hurtful things, and that's not protecting the relationship, which I believe we should all be fighting for relationships. Like even with my brother, fight for that relationship. You're gonna have conflict. We're all gonna have conflict in anything, because we our own person. We gonna have different outlooks and different views. Like, me, you see, we done had different views. That's not to say it was conflict, but it was conflicting views. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's how you get over it. And we still in relationship. You know what I'm saying? I love y'all. So I ain't gonna, hey, if you had that, hey, come on, offline, let's talk about it, bro. That's because I want to, protect the relationship that we have, but if you don't want to, simply just move on. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, man, it creates other things.
Right. I guess when it comes to, like you say, fighting for the relationship, is that something that needs to be taught, or the opposite of that? Do you think is being taught, where it's
Yeah, I think it's both.
It's
It's
more
both.
so. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I think it's both. I think it is something that needs to be taught
Mhm.
to do the correct way, or the most, rewarding way that's not gonna break you up even more. But then also, I think it is being taught because people nowadays moral values aren't what they used to be,
Mhm.
and it's more selfish now. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? So if you feel this way, just leave. And then when you think about, man, why did I listen to them? You know what I'm
And
saying?
go
Go.
ahead. I was gonna
Go ahead,
say,
bro. Go ahead.
you know me, right? If you slip it, I'm trying to write it. But yeah, so like you said, it's both, right? So
Mhm.
is it for women? Is it more so in that moment to say, if you feel that way, just leave? Is that their ego speaking? And what would it look like for them to come from a humbling position and say, "Hey, I want you to stay. Let's work this out." Is that speaking to a level of maturity, or is that speaking to a level of desperation? See what you think. See.
Yeah, that depends on the situation.
Yeah, I agree. That's situationally.
Hmm.
It kind of depends on why the person telling you to leave at that time. If you left the milk on the counter and she telling you to leave, that just might be. But if you cheated on her, or you beat her up last night and
Yeah.
she telling you to leave, that might be a different
So,
reason.
so you
Uh,
saying, if you leave the milk on the counter and she tell you to leave, you should leave. But if you cheated, you should leave too, right? I'm
oh
just
well,
joking.
that was gonna be my.
I'm trying to throw you
That was
off.
gonna be my follow-up question because I'm a little bit
Because if I leave,
relationship wise, I'm kind of immature, bro. So I kind of get wisdom from y'all with this.
no, I'm good. Because I'm the type of person, bro. If I leave the milk on the counter and you get mad at me, I'm leaving. But if I cheated, bro, if I keep cheating, I'm staying. No, I'm just playing.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get cheat on me. Yeah.
You're joking, bro.
But nah, bro, that was gonna be my follow-up thing. But not saying that because I completely agree with y'all, but just looking at how relationships are handled now compared to in the past, men had more power across the board. I'm not saying like black men or white men or specific men, but men had more power in the relationships. We just went on this long thing where we said that society kind of leveling the playing field with women and men, where women kind of have as almost an equal amount of power. They might not have the physical force over men, but financial power, the ability to be in control of their own home and not need somebody to help them out. So in my mind, the only power that men really have now in relationships is the ability to walk away, because women feel like once they have you, if a woman tell you that I am the table, that means that she's saying that you're gonna take a loss if you lose me. So really the only power that a man have at that point is just to say, okay, well, I could walk away. You can't beat her up. You can't lock her in the closet and say withhold food, like how in Islam you could say, okay, I'm not gonna feed my wife. I could beat my wife. That was a thing in the past. You can't do that now. Now your only power in a relationship is either to sit down and talk with the person and hope that the person is mature enough or willing to compromise enough to stay in the relationship with you, or for the person to know that, hey, my only power that I have here in this relationship at the time is my ability to say, hey, I don't want to participate no more. I'm walking away from this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I guess that depends on the circumstances
I
too.
think
Go ahead.
yeah, I think that is a power, but I think the other power we do have is to fight, right? Because with me and my wife, sometimes, and she know, I tell you, bro, sometimes I don't know how we still together. From not now, but like from the beginning, because bro, it was like always, you know what I'm saying? But me just being a person that necessarily I'm gonna stick up for myself, you know what I'm saying? I think that's kind of what a woman want to see too. They want to see that type of quote unquote power, that you have the power to be who you are and be steadfast. You know what I'm saying? So when they see you like that, oftentimes they will change because they like, all right, he ain't no pushover. You know what I mean? And I know sometimes you're gonna get that, and I don't know. I'm not saying that's the nature of a man, but once again, to not to say I don't like to keep going back, but that's always what it be with me. It always goes back to the word. It's told us that we're going to have these issues. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have this. So me knowing that, I'm like, we got to get through that part. You know what I'm saying? And then now, yeah, we still have our little issues, but we've been together 12 years now. You know what I'm saying? And in the beginning, I ain't think we was gonna make it. We broke up a few times. You know what I mean? But keep fighting. I could have walked away. I could have. And I did. I did. You know what I'm saying? But her coming and getting me and bringing me back, and I'm not necessarily saying physically, but brought me back. You know what I'm saying? So I think the other power that we do have is, as men, is to fight for your family, or fight for that person that you love, or fight for your kids, or fight for whoever it is. But I think what's going on more is what we said earlier. Leave. If you don't like it, get up out of there. Man, they for everybody. You see all these, they got, man, that's the premise. You know what I'm saying? And so it ain't really too many people that's out there telling you, nah, you wrong, bro. You know what I'm saying? Fight for your woman. Fight for her. Fight for your family, bro.
Yeah,
because I think it's more selfish ambition. Like, come out with me, come have fun with me.
But don't you think that you kind of put women in the position of power when you start saying that you're going to fight for your family? Don't you think that based on this society, it puts you at a disadvantage once you start saying, I'm going to fight for my family? Because you can't physically fight. You got to go to court. You got to try to fix this person. Now this person is this overlying thing over your life.
Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead, Jay, because
don't do that. Go ahead. No, listen, I'm not gonna lose my train of thought because I've been writing it down. But no, I don't think that gives. See, that's the false sense of leverage. I think that when you confess your truth in those situations to the other person, that they feel that the power has shifted from their side. You still have you can still speak your truth and still want what you want. And then, like I said, at the end of the day, like he said, both things can be true. You know, just because you're not exercising the power to walk away in that moment, you exercise the power to be truthful. I don't think that necessarily. So you have the power, like he said, to to walk away. Then you also have the power to fight for what you want. So just because you fighting for what you want doesn't make it to the point where, you know, the other person has leverage over you by you being vulnerable and you expressing what you want. Just because they don't want the same thing doesn't mean that you're in a position where you are you're in that moment you're the weak I guess vessel, whatever you want to use. No, I think that's powerful for you to be able to state your truth and just kind of recognizing what it is that you want. You know what I'm saying? Because in that moment you're operating in a space of gosh, I want to say though, I'm trying to look for a certain word, but you operate in a space where you're clear-minded and I think you do know what you want, but sometimes what you want doesn't want you, and you have the ability to walk away. I don't think that makes you a weaker vessel. I think this actually makes you more powerful because not everybody can humble themselves and put themselves in a vulnerable position.
I think that would be in the eyes of whoever it is you're talking to. You know what I'm saying? So if the person that you dealing with don't see that as powerful, they gonna see it as weak. You know what I'm saying? It's really depends on the person that you dealing with. But with me, I think power gets mixed up in relationships with, once again, the nature of man and women. Power gets mixed up with respect. And so women are necessarily wanting respect now, when naturally they're designed in God's to be loved. You know what I'm saying? And men want respect. And this is why in the word it says men men love your wives respect your husbands.
Yes.
Because the way that we see love, men, the way we see love is through respect.
Through respect.
And the way that women see respect is through love. You know? So if you're fighting over power, that's neither one. You know what I'm saying? So if you see that aspect happening, that's the conversation that need to be had.
And I think that's where fusion comes in as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's the conversation that need to be had. Like, hey, do you respect me? I don't care about this power thing. Do you respect me? I respect you, but hey. Or hey, do you love me? For a woman, do you love me? I love you, but you know what I'm saying? Now we got a whole different aspect going on, but that's what needs to be addressed to understand not necessarily power, but the control of the situation. Because once again, that's another word that's getting confused, is control equals power. Somebody got to have control. And in my eyes, a man is supposed to be the head of the house. He has to have a sense of control to be able to go where God wants them to be. But if she feels like she needs to be in control, yeah, you're going to have conflict because she's not going to respect you. You know what I'm saying? And then it's going to be hard to love her if she don't respect you. You see what I'm saying? I don't know if that's answering your question, but
no, I like y'all response. I still think that y'all might not be relating fighting and power in the same context that I'm relating it in, because if you fighting for something, that means that you are trying to gain control over the situation. You're trying to get it into a place where it's a controllable thing, or a place where you're comfortable. So I might be a little bit of a what they call it, a megalomaniac, and I don't want to relinquish my power in a bunch of places in life. So that might be another character defect that I got to work on.
I mean
what power do you have?
The power over myself. So the fact that I'm fighting for this relationship with this person, that means that I'm not in my mind, I'm not in control of myself no more. It's like I value this relationship more than maybe I value myself, because something happened that I'm not happy with, but I'm still fighting for this relationship. And I think just in modern times, where you could kind of, I guess you would say, prove your point in different ways, we are limited to proving our point certain kind of ways. You said earlier, one of your questions was about masculinity, and when masculinity is being doing fear and control and too prideful, as opposed to love and humility. I think that at the point that you start fighting for something, that's your pride. That's a fear of losing the person. That's trying to gain control of the situation, as opposed to saying, hey, maybe me and this person just don't work out together. So I'm just going to be, I'm going to love this person enough to let them go and do whatever thing they want to do that they feel like is more important right now. Or, I'm going to show enough humility to say, okay, I'm just going to let it go. It's your way.
So I my bad, real quick. I just wanted to answer this. I think it's a difference between fighting for someone that necessarily, wants to have control and fighting over rebellion. Like, I'm not going to fight over rebellion. If you just don't want to do nothing that I want, or you're being rebellious against me, you know what I'm saying? I'm not fighting over that. Because now, as you said, go ahead and do what you want to do. I'm not going to do, even God will turn you over to your own nature, flesh, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So why would I be any different? If you want to do that and you want to be rebellious, quote unquote rebellious, whatever, I'm only using that to say you don't want to indulge or do anything. But if that's not the case, and depends on what relationship we're talking about. If we're talking about a marriage, or we talking about just a relationship, like, if we talking about a marriage, in the word, it says it might be confusing to you, but the two will become one flesh, right? So you're no longer just fighting for you. When you're not fighting for your wife, you're not fighting for yourself. You see what I'm saying? Because y'all are one flesh now. Like, who gonna deny their own self? You know what I'm saying? So now, if you're in a relationship, it might be different, because this might not be. I'm saying some other things. I might not. You got the opportunity to not fight for that. You know what I'm saying? And so, go ahead and do that. But in a marriage, if it's not rebellious, you need to be fighting for your own self, and that's your family.
Yeah. But what do you? Go ahead.
One pushback, bro. Okay. The Bible was written in a different time, where I don't even know if you could get a divorce in Bible times, where
you was able, Noah.
You could.
He wrote a certificate. He allowed them to have a certificate of divorce because they had hardened their hearts. You feel me? They didn't want to, they didn't want to be with they person. They hardened their hearts. So he let them get a certificate of divorce. But the way that God intended it to be is, when you get married, that was supposed to be forever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But now we live in a society where even Moses, that mean at that point, Moses kind of messed up. He went against the word of God and said, hey, you have the ability to walk away. I don't want you to kill this person, or lock this person up, or starve this person, or do whatever.
That wasn't the full premise of him giving a certificate for divorce to allow someone to be able to walk away. It was because they had hardened their hearts. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't want to even do nothing that had to even pertain to God and staying with that woman or that man. They hardened their hearts. So instead of them fully indulging in adultery and sinful and lust, man, let that person go. But that's why even then, if you read a little bit further, that if a man gets a divorce from her husband, or a man get wife from whatever, if that person is not dead, this is why the vows say until death do us part. If that person gets remarried, that's adultery. You see what I'm saying? Because God intended marriage to be forever. It's just that he gave you a certificate to be able to walk away. We're still not supposed to remarry. But the reason why we're able to is because Christ fulfilled the law. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the United States government say you can walk away. So even though Moses didn't mess it up, whatever this government is and this society that we living in, it gives the person the right to walk away and go and be with another person. So marriage, and the weight of marriage is different now. So like, even though you
that's because we follow the laws of the land, but it's always a separation of your worldview. You see what I'm saying? If your worldview is of faith, then obviously you have to follow the laws of the land, but you're more so, your values are more in God's law. Right. But if you don't follow that, then you're going to go off the law of the land, which lets you do what you want to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the nature of this world. It's survival. Whatever I need to do to survive or make me feel better. That's what I'm able to do. That's what you do when you separate from God. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why, that's where I come from, because my worldview is of faith. So, you know, I'm not saying that you don't, but we need to have these type of conversations, because, you know, how do people think, you know?
Yeah. So like you said, go ahead, see.
Oh no, I was gonna say, but then that would still kind of lead you back to a point where now your faith have you in a position of kind of like powerlessness, because the society isn't functioning where it respects your faith the way that you respect your faith. So even though moralistically you might be right, but just society wise, you putting yourself in a situation where you've lost your power, because your religion is telling you, hey, my marriage is forever. You know, even if my wife go and divorce me on paper, when I go and marry another person, I'm committing adultery. Society don't really care nothing about that. It's gonna let everybody just kind of go along with their life, and then yes, you might have to answer to your life choices, and you know, after death, but just in your lifetime when you living it, now you kind of giving your power to the other person, because the other person might not respect this faith or religion the same way, and just might be like, hey, you know, I'm just unhappy here, I gotta go.
So that's where
go ahead,
that's where not knowing these things before you get married will hurt you, because the world is being confused and putting out false information, right? So I don't think nobody ever told me about this scripture in the Bible before I got married, right? So if we were being preached this, we will be more selective in who we marry, if we even marry, right? Because we would know not necessarily the consequence of getting married, but understanding that if I don't like this person, under God's eyes, I'm not able to get married again. So now I'm going to be more conscious on who I choose and more careful, because I can look at a little bit more things before I make that decision. So my power, quote unquote, power isn't taken away. You know what I'm saying? So I am not powerless. Now I have all the information and the knowledge. Once again, the Bible, you know, my people perish because of a lack of knowledge. It's about what we don't know, you know, and none of us knew that well, I'm not going to say none of us, a lot of us, majority of us didn't know that in God's eyes, because we go right over that vow till death do us part. We go right over that. You know what I'm saying? And nobody ever just they just think of it as you just reading. Oh yeah, let's hurry up and get through it so I can say yes.
No, I think that people realize that it say that. They know that they taking a vow in front of God. That's why people want to get married. That would be the whole reason that you have a preacher standing in front of you, or a priest marrying you, that you know that you're taking a vow in front of God. But I just think that people, because the society allows them to do it, yes, you might be religious initially going into the relationship, but your happiness might trump your religion at some point, and you might just be like, hey, no, I'm not saying you specifically, I'm just saying the people in the relationship. And because now that other person have that power to walk away, people change over time. Now you just in a position. I'm just leading this back to you know, the position of power thing. You know, like I said, I'm kind of a megalomaniac. You know, power is
right. Well, listen, guys, we've been at it for like two hours. I know.
Jay, like, look, man,
y'all dudes are gonna go at it all day. Already.
Hey, Jay, like, I gotta go to bed.
Yeah, it's a good conversation, bro.
It's almost my bedtime.
And in my mind, y'all kind of are my mentors in this area, because you know it's not a pushback from a point of, you know, I want to get what you're saying. Yeah. I just want to kind of get a better understanding, because you know it's the conflict of both things. It's like, yeah, you know, morally you 100% right, but then, you know, when I close my door and I go out my door, but 95% of the people don't have a good moral stance. When you dating, because we did have a podcast show one time before, and y'all said that dating is like a part of the society and people shouldn't get prearranged marriages and stuff like that. So then at that point, as you come into contact with people, you know that people not going to be 100% honest with you. You can have a person that hide behind religion and they not really a religious person. And, you know, depending on how good of a detective you are, you might get yourself so locked into a relationship with the person and then figure out that they don't really believe in this stuff that they saying to me. So I'm just trying to figure out that part as far as like, if you start fighting for a relationship at a certain level, you are relinquishing power to the other person at a certain point. Yes.
So you really, I mean, at this point,
I mean, power isn't my power isn't my premises. Respect.
I mean, at the end of the day, bro, this is how it works. It's always going to be moral views versus worldly views. We do live and occupy the government that we do live in, so we do, adhere by different laws and different things that's in place. And the Bible itself speaks on us about honoring the government that's in hand. There's a purpose to it, but like Nick was saying, we subscribe to a higher power. You understand what I'm saying? So we move faith-based. So I'm not necessarily worried about the fact that if I'm being vulnerable to someone by revealing my truth, if they're going to look at me with less respect, or they may feel that they have a false sense of power. I'm just going to move with what's in my heart. And that's always going to be moved with, and that's always going to be through transparency and honesty, even if, like he was saying, depending on a certain situation, he's not going to fight for a person that's rebelling against me. In that situation, it is best to let that person rebel and let them find what it is that they're looking for. And then they'll realize that it's still not enough. And then they'll come to themselves. And then at that point, that's where me and Nick align at, is at that point, that person will, hopefully they'll find, or subscribe to, whatever it is that's just trying to reach them in that moment. If, like I said, for us, it's God, because I subscribe to, Christianity. And I do think a lot of times in troubling situations, when we are in a situation where we are secluded from different distractions, that's a lot of times that's when we can hear God the most. At that point, when we pretty much succumb to our own selfishness and we're able to kind of get out of those situations with, our Father. But yes, bro, there's always going to be opposing views when it comes to what's acceptable in society and what's acceptable from, our faith and things of that sort. But yeah, y'all going to keep going at it. I already know. And I know it's not to be, it's not from the contents of, an ego standpoint. It's just from a position where you're trying to get information and trying to come from a place of understanding. You understand what I'm saying? So I definitely understand. I respect it, bro. But yes, it's about 2 hours, over 2 hours. I know y'all don't have nothing to do today, but I do.
You got to go to bed.
I got to take a nap.
Yeah. Man got to be up at 5.
I'm the youngest of us all, bro. I got energy, bro. I don't get tired, bro.
Man, listen, more power to you.
I know. I'll be going. I'll be moving, boy.
But yeah, I get my energy at night.
Because you're a vampire. That's why.
hey, I'm creative at night. Everybody sleep, kids sleep, everybody sleep.
Okay. But listen, man, I appreciate the people that watched the episode for the entirety of it. If you didn't, if you was in and out, I do respect you guys as well, your time. Again, if you subscribe to the channel, like the episode, hit the notification bell for when we go live, you'll be notified. Yeah, I love my brothers on screen. Nick, you know what I'm saying? I've been rocking with you for a long time. I've been rocking with you for a long time, bro. Y'all always bring thought-provoking advice and perspective to the conversation. So I definitely enjoy hanging out, spending some time with y'all boys, man. Y'all family. Anything y'all want to say to wrap it up real quick? Y'all good?
I love y'all boys too, man. I enjoy these conversations, dog. Like I said, relationship wise and interacting with people outside of, business, and just, just trying to get things accomplished in certain aspects, just, interpersonal relationships with people. I kind of look to y'all for advice in these episodes to kind of get a better perspective, because I know sometimes my outlook could be a little bit cold on certain situations, and maybe even a little bit selfish, while I'm only thinking about, what I'm getting from the situation. So, I do realize those things about myself, and sometimes it's not sometimes, all the time that we have these conversations, it's good to be able to be around people that can kind of give a better perspective and say, hey, have you ever thought about it this way? And you have a valid challenge or, response to some of the questions that I ask. So, I love y'all boys. I enjoy this, and let's keep doing it.
Likewise. Anything, Nick?
Right. I mean, I don't really got nothing, motivational to say. C took care of that. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, listen, wrap us up with one quote, Nick.
Hey, man, you put me on the spot right now. I don't got no on the spot quotes, man.
Oh, man, come on. I know you got
one from the Bible, the best quote that you learned from the Bible.
Man, you got something.
All of them are.
Wrap us up, bro. Wrap us up, man. You got something, bro. You got like a lot of books behind you, bro. I've been in your house, bro. I know.
I'm more like in the midst of things. Like, yeah, I can come up with it. When you be like, hey, take us out, bro. Hey,
right. See, take us out. See.
Today, Free Bison is dropping a music video and an album. So follow me on the nwood.com or follow Free Bison on all social media platforms. This video gonna be fire, bro. I shot it. This like my second music video that I done shot. It's fire. We did something cool with it. It got a second meaning the second time that you watch the video. So hopefully this video do something good for us.
All right. We're gonna wrap up with that then.
Yeah. All right, man.
I appreciate you letting me steal your show at the end.
All right, bro.
Yep.